Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of the podcast. I'm gonna dive straight into it. Would it maybe concern you if I told you that one out of every 11 Americans who have a mortgage are in distress? Not behind by month, but distressed 90 days or longer. Would it also make you a little curious if that number increased by 5% from last quarter to this quarter? Basically, one out of 20 people went to that distress rate. What if I were to tell you that eight out of the top 25 cities that have the most distress land in the Lone Star State? That's right. Now, WalletHub likes to publish these different articles, and they released this new article about where are the most distressed cities in the states out there. Okay, as far as mortgage distress. Now, I guarantee you probably won't really be able to guess who number one is. And yes, it's Texas. No, it's not Austin. No, it's not San Antonio. No, it's not Houston. And no, it's not the DFW market. Where is it? Laredo. And the number is going to astonish you. Laredo came in number one overall, but get this 25% distress. One out of four homeowners with a mortgage are in distress. Oh, 23.85. Okay. 23.85. Highest by 5%. Next highest was Detroit, Michigan. Okay. Now, that doesn't startle you. I don't know. Now, why is everything so distressed in Laredo? Is it the Valley? Is it Trump's exporting people, deporting people, I should say? Is it ICE cracking down on people that live there who've gotten a non-traditional mortgage or who had a mortgage using their green card and have left to go back? I don't know, but let's dive into because this numbers will affect you. And I'm going to tell you, every major city in Texas is on that list. Top 100 cities. It's going to startle you in this. So let's dive into it. So the article came out just the other day, yesterday or the day before, WalletHub. And basically, I'm just going to read cities with the highest mortgage delinquency rates. It actually came out sometime, basically 5 days ago. High mortgage rates and housing costs combined with an increasing cost of living have left many homeowners struggling to keep up with their loan payments. Falling behind in a mortgage in a serious manner, potentially resulting in late fees, credits, score harm, and even foreclosure. And we've seen that with more default, more distress coming across our plate all across the country. And yes, we are seeing more distress notes in Texas coming across our plate as well. To spotlight the cities with the highest rates of mortgage delinquency, as well as those where borrowers are staying current, WalletHub analyzed proprietary user data from Q1 to Q2 2025. Okay, and so here's the thing. Here's a quote by the guy over at WalletHub, Chip Lupo. The rate of mortgage delinquency varies significantly from city to city, ranging from about 3%, and that's like San Francisco, to nearly 24% in Laredo. The bad news is that while people in some cities are having much more difficulty paying their mortgages than others, the problem as a whole is also getting worse this year. In fact, the mortgage delinquency rates actually increased in all but 13 of the 100 cities in our studies between Q1 2025 and Q2 2025. So this is about 90-day rolling aspect of it. But the main findings, basically, the top 10, we look at it, is Laredo came in number one overall, just under 24%. Detroit, number two, just under 19. Newark, New Jersey, 16 and three quarters. Baton Rouge at almost 16%. Philadelphia, the brother of love, doesn't like to pay their mortgages. I'm just joking. 15.8%. Baltimore, Maryland came in at 15.42. New Orleans, 15%. Louisiana's always struggled since COVID with the distress stuff. Greensboro, North Carolina at under 15%. El Paso, Texas, 14.69%. Lubbock, Texas, go Red Raiders. Okay. 14.47%. That's the top 10. And it goes on from there. Let me pull up the map here. Not the map. I want to pull up a list here for those that are here in Texas, because I know that's where a big chunk of my audience is at here. So if you take a look at Texas stuff, all right, it is kind of unfortunate. All right. So if we take a look at just the cities in Texas, Texas had a lot of stuff. All right. Like I said, Laredo number one overall at 23.85. El Paso at 14.69. Lubbock came in at 10th at 14.47. San Antonio, the River City, 13% at 13.86%. Corpus Christi, ranked 14th at 13.77. Fort Worth by itself, 13.26. Okay, Garland, Texas, 12.17. Houston, under 12%, 11.83. Dallas, came in at 58th overall. Houston was at 26th. Garland was at 25th. My apology. And Fort Worth was at 16th. But Dallas, Texas came in at 58th at 8.23. Irving at 71st was at 7.04%. Austin, 80th, ranked 83rd out of 100, so it's actually doing pretty well. Was at 5.63%. Plano came at 91st, basically the Dallas area, 4.18%. Okay, now if you average those numbers, as I said, it was about 5% increase if you averaged it across all 100 states or 100 markets. In Texas, it's a little bit better. You've got some peaks and some valleys, but it only increased by about 3.7% across the board. But the biggest thing to look at, biggest increase was Garland, Texas, followed by Fort Worth. And then next was Dallas, Texas. So DFW definitely showing some stress with the big increases over Q1 to Q2. Now, if we go back to the actual spreadsheet here, or the actual article, I want to read a little bit more about what they were talking about with you guys, because it's important to keep this in mind when you're looking at any type of deals, distress stuff, fix and flipping, whatever type your strategy is. Obviously, Texas is kind of where I am, but here's a little bit of in-depth. Laredo, Texas is a city where people are the most delinquent in mortgages with about 24%. This is significantly higher than the delinquency rate in other major cities, with no other city in our study surpassing 19%. On top of that, Laredo residents' delinquency rate is rising despite already being the highest in the nation. It experienced a nearly 6% increase between Q1 and Q2. That said, almost all major cities showed increases during the same period. In addition to the general struggles of high home prices and high interest rates, Laredo has a decently high amount of residents in financial distress. In addition, Laredo is also one of the weakest cities when it comes to residents' money management skills. They're just not taught financial education. Now, another thing, obviously, property taxes in Texas affect things. Insurance costs have affected a lot of people as well, too. That's my own personal experience, and people that I know here, they've seen that thing go up. And if you have those things and less money coming in, you're going to pay other bills to stay in, maybe not your mortgage. Now, Detroit, let's talk about the Motor City. They're ranked second with nearly 19% of mortgages delinquent. That's a very high number, still around 5% below the delinquency rate of Laredo, Texas. In general, Detroit has a serious delinquency problem, even outside of mortgages. That Motor City ranks third among the cities where people are the most delinquent on all types of debt combined. Also, as was the case in most major cities, Detroit's mortgage delinquency rate increased between Q1 and Q2, rising by 11%. Okay. Next, third one, Newark, sorry. At 17%. One contributing factor in Newark's high delinquency rate is that it ranks fourth among the cities where people are the most delinquent on debt in general. Okay. It's expensive to live there, especially outside of New York. They had a delinquency rate between Q1 and Q2 with a surge of over 9%. So people are starting to get distressed. Now, the thing about that's the difference between Newark, New Jersey, and then, of course, Michigan and even Texas. Texas is the fastest foreclosure rate in the country. Michigan is a non-judicial foreclosure state, so it's relatively fast, 90 to 120 days. Newark can take you 2 years to foreclose. So just because people are falling behind, they can drag themselves out of the mud by playing that game a little bit. Whereas in non-judicial states like Texas, Georgia, Michigan, Tennessee, Missouri, Virginia, North Carolina, even Georgia, those all states have a faster foreclosure process. Okay. Now here's a little bit of the methodology to run the cities where most people are delinquent on mortgage loans. They analyze WalletHub, analyze their proprietary user data on consumer mortgage delinquency rates between Q1 and Q2. So, what do we need to look at this? How do we need to affect this? Now, people will probably want to know, well, what's it like in California? Well, I'll tell you what it's like in California. Let's pull that up here real fast. So, if we look at the California cities, let's see, the first one that made the list was San Bernardino. That's number 15th, was at 13.57%. Next from there down was Stockton at 12.48. And Bakersfield came in at 30th at 11. Sacramento, 9.82. And Sacramento was at 37. Irvine, California was 48th at 8.68. And let's see here. What do we else have here? Fresno at 7.3. Then you've got a stretch here. Riverside, Chula Vista, LA, Long Beach were all at 6.3 to 6.7. Santa Ana, 5.78. Oakland, I thought would be higher. was just under 5%, 4.99. Anaheim, 4.69. And San Diego, 3.78, one of the lowest ones. And then San Jose, which obviously you have a lot of high tech there. And Fremont, 3.1, 2.94. And then, of course, San Francisco came at the lowest at 2.8%. And actually, the rate went down over Q1. So the cities where the delinquency rate went down, let's see here. Baton Rouge, it actually got better by 3.45% in between Q1s, Q2. Let's see here, 0.75. Oklahoma City got a little better. It was ranked at 32 at 10%. It got actually better by almost 3/4 of a point. Albuquerque went down by 1%. They're ranked at 42 at 9.22. Biggest increase, Cincinnati, Ohio had a 2.11% increase, or the default rate going down. And same thing with St. Louis, Missouri, 3.77% negative. So it actually got better there. The cities that you've got to really worry about that had the hugest increase across the board, like 1/4 to the next. I mean, Detroit had 11%. But Winston-Salem, North Carolina, almost a 20% increase. So something's happened in Winston-Salem with job loss. Tulsa was at 10%. Let's see here. Jacksonville at 10%. Sacramento, a 16% increase between Q1 and Q2. Glendale, Arizona, about a 13% increase. Virginia Beach, almost a 16% increase. Irvine, California, 23% increase from 1/4 to the next. That's crazy. Fort Wayne, Indiana, 15% increase. Tampa, Florida, 18% increase. That doesn't really surprise me there. And I think that's about it. 23, oh, sorry, Chula Vista. Well, had a 23.6% of it. If you don't know where Chula Vista is down by, it's down on the border there, San Diego. It's literally right there. So the border towns are struggling. I'd be willing to bet that's what happened. You have people over that were paying their mortgages in San Diego or Chula Vista and said, we're going to leave without getting deported. So that's what I would say. Keep that in mind when you're looking at stuff. You can go to WalletHub. Actually, what we'll do is we'll put the link to this article in the description so you guys can click it, download it, make your own observations, and go from there. But guys, I love the Lone Star State. It's been one of the fastest foreclosure states. We're seeing distress here. And if we're seeing it here, you guys are seeing it everywhere, and we're obviously seeing that. So go out, take some action. Feel free to reach out to me at talkwithscottcarson.com to book a phone call to find out how to put this stuff to work. And if you got a deal that needs flipping or a deal that needs working, we're here to help. Help us put our network and team together in our referral network for you guys.